Hey everyone, PianoManChuck here, and we are closing the year 2020 out. So let's start out with what I have reviewed in 2020. So we started out January of 2020 with NAMM 2020 coverage, and it was a great show. Who knew another month or two after that, the nation would shut down? Actually, the world would be a completely different place. But I did manage to cover 2020. I started the year 2020 out. The first equipment I covered was the V3 Sound Grand Piano XXL MIDI sound module. I mean, I've done that before, but this is really nice. You can hook that up to any keyboard controller, and you got some quality sounds with that. Then I went with the ongoing coverage of Roland Fantom 8, which also applies to the 7 and 6. I covered new OS release coverage, supernatural sounds that were released, and so on and so forth. Then I covered a really great piece of pro audio gear, the Zoom F6, which is their field recorder, and this is phenomenal. The Zoom F6 came out with, and they're not the first to do this, but they're the first affordable to do this, 32-bit float, which basically, this is a musician's dream, where you can just set the arm the tracks. You don't even have to set the levels anymore. You just arm the tracks that you want to record, and you start recording. And you cannot clip. It is phenomenal. And ever since then, I've been using the Zoom F6 whenever I have a need for 6 tracks or less. When the moment I have to go to 7 tracks, I have to go to something else, like the Zoom H8, which is also another great piece of gear. But the Zoom F6, man, I can't say enough good things about that. All of these things I'm covering today that I've reviewed, I have reviewed, so check those out. And I highly recommend checking out the Zoom F6 if you haven't already. That is really a dream come true for musicians. I mean, how many times have you set levels for somebody with a sound check, and maybe it's a singer and they don't pull back from the microphone when they have a loud passage, or you got a guitar player, you've got the levels are perfect, but no, they have to turn the levels up during the middle of the set. So this will take care of that. And that's what's so great about the Zoom F6. Then the Korg SV-2, another great keyboard. It's the continuation of the SV1. Now it's the SV2, a lot more capability, and they even offer a model that had built-in speakers, and those speakers, which were offered by K-Array, really sound fantastic. So check out my review of that. And of course, since I reviewed the SV2, I had to review the SV2 editor, which is really popular. It's a piece of software that runs on your PC or Mac, and very powerful, interfaces directly with your SV2. You can create layers and all kinds of other stuff there. Then for those, it's kind of a deviation from my channel. I usually just cover music and music equipment, recording equipment, that kind of stuff. But for those that have the BlackMagic ATEM Mini or Mini Pro or Mini Pro ISO, I covered a piece of gear that would allow you to add more cameras than just the existing 4 cameras that you could cover with the ATEM Mini or Mini Pro or ISO. So you can add a couple of more cameras to that. It's really cool. So check out that video as well. Then Casio came out with the CDP-S350, which is not new, but it is new in the United States. Okay. Guitar Center had basically a monopoly on that model until this year. Now everybody can sell it in the United States, and it's been available all over the world. But until now, other Casio dealers, including myself, couldn't sell it because of the Guitar Center exclusive. That's over. So now the CDP-S350 88 key, great keyboard, battery operated, speakers built in. There is so much to it, you have to see the review. Then I reviewed Dexibell's flagship model, the Dexibell Vivo S9. Talk about a keyboard. Wow. Not just great pianos and great keyboard feel, which, by the way, the key action was developed specifically for that model by FETHead. It doesn't feel like any other FETHead model or keyboard that you've ever tried, I guarantee it. But it has the greatest organs in it too. And not only that, it has motorized faders, which double, actually more than double. They control the organ stops, they can control EQ, they control mix settings, they can control external zone settings, and so on and so forth. This is a powerhouse, Dexibell's greatest to date. I can highly recommend that. Then the RD-88 from Roland. Now, that's a first for Roland because it is the slimmest keyboard they have. Built-in speakers, MIDI, everything. It's all there, and there's over 3,000 sounds built in, and it supports Roland's new ZenCore Sounds. So with ZenCore, if you already don't know, with ZenCore, you can take other ZenCore compatible Roland products, such as the Roland Fantom, create sounds with it, and then bring that into the Roland RD-88. Or you can take Roland's new software, which you can also develop ZenCore sounds on. It's called Zenology. So you can also develop sounds with it, with ZenCore, and then take those sounds and bring it into the Roland RD-88. Any of those keyboards or software models that support ZenCore sounds, you can move the sounds you've created from one unit to another. That is so cool and a real feat of engineering. I gotta hand it to Roland on that. Kudos to Roland. And speaking of which, the Roland RD-88, there's really not a good case for it that Roland develops, but Casio has developed their SC800 model, which is a great keyboard case. It's for their new PXS models and their CDP-S models, but it also happens to fit the Roland RD-88 like a glove. So see my review on that. That is a phenomenal gig bag. Then I did some comparisons, and one of those was the Roland RD-88 versus Casio's top of the line, their flagship model, the PX560. That's quite a comparison. And if you were on the fence on either of those, this will set you straight. Then I did a comparison of Zoom's new H8 model with the predecessor, the H6. That is quite a comparison. So, do you need an H8 if you already have an H6? Do you need an H8 if you're considering buying an H6? This video will answer that question for you. Then V3 Sound came up with their V3 Control. V3 Control is a software app that runs on your tablet, and they give you this dongle that you hook up into your V3 sound module. And basically, it's software in that dongle that interacts with your program, and you don't need to have a keyboard that is a master MIDI controller anymore with all the hassles of setting that up. It's basically, you choose the category, you choose the sound you want, you can choose layers. It does so much that it would take the rest of this video to describe what it does. So see the video on that if you have a V3 sound module, or you're considering getting a V3 sound module, or you would have gotten it, but you're not because it was just too much of a hassle before. Now the V3 control module makes that super easy. Then I reviewed the FETHead. Basically, it is a preamp that hooks up between your gain-hungry mic and your existing preamp. So this, an Electro Voice RE20, is gain hungry, but this, a Shure SM7B, is even hungrier for gain. So you need a lot of gain to use one of these. And sometimes certain equipment like the Zoom F8 will handle it without this, but it's strongly recommended that you get a FETHead or even a cloud lifter. And we show you what the FETHead does for the sound with this. Absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. Then I did another comparison, the Dexibell Vivo S9 versus, right here, the Nord Piano 4. That was an interesting comparison. So while those are expensive boards, this is a $3,000 board, and the Dexibell S9 is a $4,000 board. You're going to see why the Dexibell S9 at $1,000 more is actually worth every single penny. In fact, it's a bargain when you compare it with the features of this. Now, the Nord Piano 4 is an awesome, awesome keyboard, and it is and still is one of my favorite boards to use of all time. But that Dexibell is giving it quite a challenge, especially if you want organ. If you want organ, you're not really going to get that here. You're going to have to step up to the Nord Stage 3 for that, which is $4,500. So I highly advise that you review that video because you're going to be surprised at the value you get with the Dexibell S9. Then I reviewed PianoTeq's new offering, PianoTeq 7, which also had New York Steinway D. It introduced morphing capability, which is really cool, and layering as well, something it didn't have in previous versions, and they improved all the pianos. You'll notice a subtle difference, but it is there. Then I reviewed the carry-on folding 88-key piano from Black Star Amplification. $99. You've got an 88-key keyboard that folds up into 4 sections and fits into just about anything. In fact, yeah, I have it right here. It is in this awesome tote bag that's included with it, and it's in there. It is great. See my review on that. That is something that's really new and really amazing. Then I did a couple of other comparison videos. The Casio CDP-S350 versus the PX-S3000. So watch that video and you'll see what the differences are between those two models. Maybe you don't need to spend as much on the S3000 as you thought you needed because the CDP S350 might do the trick for you. Maybe not. Watch the video and you'll find out. And then I also did a comparison on the same two models, the Casio CDP-S350 and the PX-S3000, as far as what the built-in speakers sound like on both of them. And there were more videos, but this was the main stuff that I got done in 2020, and I'm looking to cover a lot more in 2021. And I'm going to start 2021 out with broadcast or podcast microphones. Podcasting has become the latest craze. And of course, if you want to get into podcasting, you're going to want to sound your best. And I'm going to go through how you were going to achieve that depending on your budget. So a lot to look forward to. And NAMM is coming up again, virtually this time. Believe in Music Week is what they're calling it. So I'll try to cover that as best as I can, even though I won't be at the physical show, which was canceled. So it's going to be interesting. I have no idea what that's going to ultimately wind up being like. Anyway, PianoManChuck, wishing you safe and happy holidays. Stay safe out there. Peace out. Thanks for watching.